All right, let's go. Flames Nation live on a Sunday. We've got Dustin in first on this Sunday, and lots with us as well. Dustin and Jesse in on this Sunday, and lots of things to talk about on Flames Nation live. Happy Sunday. Happy end of the losing streak as well. Boy, did the Flames need that one on Saturday. What's going on? It's Pat Steinberg along with you from Flames Talk on Sportsnet 960 The Fan, coming at you from the home studio, and hopefully you're doing well on this Sunday. Get your comments, get your questions in on this edition of Flames Nation Live, and let's chat. There's lots to talk about, starting with the fact that we're brought to you by DoorDash, where we encourage you to go download the app, create your account, and then once you do that, use our promo code of FNLiveDD. That is FNLiveDD. If you use that promo code, once you've created your account, you're going to get 25% off and free delivery on your first order. So DoorDash brings you Flames Nation Live each and every episode. Thanks for coming along for the ride on this Sunday in between games. And finally, the losing streak is over, and a hard-fought losing streak, or rather a hard-fought win to end the losing streak for the Flames. I thought that there was a lot to like about their 3-2 win over Winnipeg on Saturday. Wasn't perfect. Definitely a second period that maybe they weren't where they wanted to be, but for the most part, and especially in that third period, I thought lots to like about the way the Flames played. They locked that third period down, and that was reminiscent of a lot of the third periods that we've seen them play this season prior to the 7-game losing skid. They locked things down. They did a nice job of limiting shots, limiting house opportunities, and not really allowing a Jets team that, you thought would be pretty dialed in. They had, 20 seconds of 5-on-3 and 63 seconds of 5-on-4 or power play time to start off the third, and did basically nothing with it. And give the Flames penalty kill a lot of credit. That PK was outstanding on Saturday. That won them the hockey game. Not only did Trevor Lewis score the shorthanded goal, but the penalty kill was dominant all night long. They allowed next to nothing, and a really, really good effort from the PKers. The 5-on-3 was kind of the peak of it, but overall a really good evening on the penalty kill. So it goes from that to the Flames winning 3-2 over the Winnipeg Jets, and then some good news at practice on Sunday. Got home from practice a little while ago at the Scotiabank Saddledome, and for the first time since Monday, when Jonathan Huberdeau sustained an upper body and a lower body injury in the same game, he was back on the ice and took part in full practice. So decent chance, anyway, that Huberdeau plays come Monday against the Los Angeles Kings. Now, the only question is, who's he going to play with? And that is somewhat in question. Huberdeau definitely was a full participant, and that's good news. And they could use him back. The power play could use Huberdeau back in a big, big way. But here's the way things shaped up in terms of the lines and pairings on Sunday. And what was interesting was seeing Huberdeau slot in with Michael Backlund and Trevor Lewis. Could just be Daryl Sutter trying to ease him back into the lineup. Could very easily be that. Obviously, the line of Ruzicka with Lindholm and Toffoli has been really good. They were a big part of the win over the Jets on Saturday as well. I think that a lot of people were noticing that Lucic and Huberdeau could very easily be swapped. I could see that being as a really good swap as well. We'll see. But Huberdeau, Kadri, Mangiapane, we've seen it. It wasn't necessarily super successful off the hop, but I still think there is some potential of having that line together. So we'll see. That's the way they looked Sunday at practice. Rooney looked like the odd forward out, and Mackey was the odd defenseman out. Tanev, of course, returned on Saturday against Winnipeg and made a big, big difference. And he was paired with Weegar at practice, and DeSimone was paired with Zadorov for the most part at practice as well. So that's the way things looked, and we'll see if that's the way they go come Monday against the Los Angeles Kings at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It's Steinberg along with you on Flames Nation Live. Let's dive in on the live chat. Dustin says, was a rough 7-game slide. Most of those losses should have been wins. I don't know if should have would be the word I would use, Dustin, but I could definitely say could have been wins. And I only say that because they were right there for the taking. But when you are playing good teams that do good things themselves, you always got to make sure that you're closing the door. And the fact they didn't close the door and left doors open on teams like New Jersey and Boston, New Jersey and New York, Boston less so because the Bruins, they won that game fair and square, I think, and so did the Islanders and Devils. But the door was left open. The Flames had leads, and especially that New York Islanders lead with two goals in the third period. Don't leave the door open. And so I don't know if should have won is the way I look at it, but definitely could have won. Kind of similar to how the Jets could have won the game against the Flames on Saturday, but this time the Flames were able to lock it down, and that was a really, really solid third period for Calgary. Jesse says Markstrom looked great. Lewis was clutch. Lindholm was great at 60% on draws. And I thought that was Markstrom's best game of the season. Obviously made the highlight reel save on Mark Scheifele, but I just thought he was dialed in throughout the game, and he looked dialed from puck drop. And that was the thing that was most encouraging when it came to the way Markstrom played on Saturday night. And he's been trending in the right direction. I know that the New Jersey game winner was a little frustrating, and there's been a few goals that you're like, I don't know if I loved that one. I wouldn't say that he was, the culprit or the only culprit for their 7-game skid, but there were a couple of times where you're looking for that one more save. Well, on Saturday, you got that one more save. And while he didn't have to do much in the third period, he was dynamite in the first 40, and I thought that was his best outing of the season. Kyle wonders, what's up with Manj? Mangiapane seems like he's trending in the right direction. I've liked him a whole lot more the last couple of games. I thought he had even though there wasn't a ton there offensively in terms of the end of the day, in terms of counting numbers and what showed up on the score sheet, I thought that Mangiapane looked a whole lot better against Winnipeg and was a whole lot more impactful. I even thought he looked a whole lot better against New Jersey and Boston too. Ever since Ruzicka's come into the lineup, and make no mistake, at least the way I look at it, I think bringing Ruzicka in and putting him right on that line with Lindholm and Toffoli, that's a message being sent by head coach Daryl Sutter to guys like Mangiapane and to guys like Dubé that, hey, this guy's barely played this season. We're going to give him the opportunity on that line maybe before we give it to you. And that's because guys like Mangiapane and Dubé have had their struggles here over the last little bit. So I think Mangiapane is moving in the right direction. I'm still a little worried about where things sit on the Dubé front. He had such a great start to the season, and it's kind of dropped off. And I think that there's still a lot to like about Dylan's game, and I think that Dylan has a great chance to be heard from in a big way this season. But after a great start to the year, it has kind of dropped off a little bit. So he's going to need to get that back and see if he can start to work his way back up the depth chart as the season rolls on here. What else we got on our live chat here on Flames Nation Live? Jesse wonders if there's any word on Shillington. At this point, no. I mean, Oliver continues to be out of the lineup, and there's no update. He continues to battle a pretty serious personal issue thing, and that continues to keep him out of the lineup. And there's been no update from the Flames because there's no update to give. When Oliver's ready to come back, that's the next time that there's going to be an update. As I said, I think last weekend, and as I've said a lot on Flames Talk, I mean, we really aren't, and I know, Jesse, you're not saying this, but there's really no obligation for the Flames or Oliver or anybody else to update us more than what we already have. Brad Treliving came out at the beginning of training camp, says Oliver's not here, and we don't know when he's going to be here. He's dealing with something, and we're going to give him all the space and privacy he needs, which I believe is exactly the right play. Look, he's dealing with something pretty serious in his personal life, and he needs the time, he needs the privacy, he needs the space to deal with it. So I think that at this point, I don't know if he's going to be back this year, but you let him deal with it, and you let him come back when he's ready. And when he's ready to come back, you try to work him into the lineup. And I think that they would absolutely, there'd absolutely be a great spot for him in the lineup. I think they miss his speed. I think they miss his puck moving. I think they miss his connection with Chris Tanev. I think it allows you to play Uyghur on the right side with whoever. Maybe you can put Uyghur and Zadorov together because they've been a really good pairing when they've played together. So they absolutely miss Shillington, but there's no timeline for when he comes back. And I don't think there needs to be a timeline because what he's dealing with, there really isn't any scientific. This isn't a a broken bone or anything like that. There's no real scientific. There's no science as to when you come back from something that you're dealing with that's outside of the physical realm. So I don't know when he's going to come back. I don't know if he's going to come back this season. I hope he does, because I think it was a great story last year for Calgary, and he's been a really, really great story over the last year. But for now, no update on Oliver Shillington as it stands right now. What else we got here? Dustin wonders, do we still need to make a move for a right shot forward? This is a really interesting one, and I'm really curious as to how this Ruzicka situation plays out. So, Adam has come in and done a great job at forward for the Flames and has really helped them on the left side of that line with Lindholm and Toffoli. And all along, we have thought that the Flames have an opening for a top 9, middle 6 winger, right? And nobody in camp, whether it was Sonny Milano or Cody Eakin or Matthew Phillips or Jacob Pelche, nobody really jumped in and grabbed that spot. And they gave Ruzicka a shot to be a winger for one game in Seattle during the preseason, and he didn't do a whole lot with it. Well, there was an opening. They were on the road. They didn't have an extra forward with them. There's the opportunity for big Adam Ruzicka, and he stepped in, and he has filled it really, really well. So what I wonder is whether or not that maybe – now, it's only been 3 games. What I wonder is if Ruzicka continues to show that he can play in this top 9 and can be an effective winger, if that maybe – I don't want to say completely puts the brakes on the Flames looking for another winger, because they're always going to be looking to make themselves better, but does it maybe dial down the urgency a little bit and maybe allow the Flames to see if that can progress, and maybe it turns the Flames into looking for a different type of player, whereas if they were looking for a player at this level, well, maybe now they're looking for a player that's a little further down and that they could slot in a little further down the depth chart if Adam continues to play the way that he has. I'm interested in that. It's too early to make a call on that as of now. It's a promising trend the way he's played, and I think we've always known that there is a lot of potential with this player. So now we have to see if he can continue doing this over a longer period of time. 9 periods, 3 games is great, but now you got to do it every day for a whole lot longer to maybe change the conversation about what type of forward the Flames might go and acquire, if they go and acquire a forward, right? So I like what I've seen, and I think for now it's given them a nice stopgap, and they haven't had to go down to the American League and disrupt the chemistry on those forward lines as of yet, but still got to see it for a longer-term period for Ruzicka. One thing we know, though, Daryl's a big fan. He likes the combination of size and skill from Adam Ruzicka, and because of that, I think that there's a chance that he has a chance for him to stick here for a little while longer and be given a little bit more of an opportunity, just because we know that Daryl is a fan and likes the package of goods that he brings to the table. Few others just before we wrap things up on Flames Nation Live. Dylan says, Friedman said the Flames were a team of interest for the Flames. Who would that forward be? Shen, O'Reilly, Tarasenko. Now, important differentiation. Pike reached out to Elliot Friedman. I'm just going to go pull up Pike's text right now. The managing editor over at Flames Nation, here at Flames Nation. Yes, I just wanted to go double check. So Pike reached out to Friedman, and there is a important differentiation to make. So on 32 Thoughts Saturday in the second intermission of the first game on Hockey Night, Elliott said the Flames are looking for a forward, have been since August. Nothing is imminent. The Blues are a team to watch. Those are not connected. Elliott clarified that with Ryan. They're not connected. So the Flames are looking for a forward, and the Blues are a team to watch to make a deal, not connected to one another. So that is – now, I think that you could always make a connection to the Blues, to whatever team you're talking about, but Elliott was not connecting the Flames and Blues as trade partners. And I just think that's an important clarification. So because I know that it was easy to and at first listen, before Pike texted me that clarification, at first listen I would have thought the same thing, but they're different things. The Blues are a team to watch, and the Flames are looking for a forward, they're not related. Now, that being said, I think that there is a absolute chance the Flames could look to St. Louis because the Blues are a struggling group, and there's some interesting names there. The name that somebody brought up on the Flames Talk postgame on Saturday was Ivan Barbashev, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Pending UFA, left shot, although I don't know if I still think they are short a right shot. I just don't know if it's as imperative that they go out and get a right shot as maybe I felt before. But it probably still would be the ideal. Like if you had to choose, if you had two identical guys, one's a left shot, one's a right shot. Yeah, you're probably leaning the right shot guy. But if there's a good player and he just happens to shoot left, I don't think that you go say, no, we don't want him here because he's the wrong shot. I do still think that there's reason to be looking regardless at good forwards. But yes, I do think right shots are part of the want list or need list for the Calgary Flames, but we'll see. We'll see how Mangiapane continues to perform as a right wing. We know Coleman can play both sides. Dubé can play both sides. But yeah, really their right shots are Lindholm, Toffoli, and that's about it. Like there's not, they don't have a lot of right shots that they can roll out on a regular basis. It was an issue for them last year. They went out and got Yarncroke, and it was just an okay fit. So I think that we could absolutely understand if the Flames were to go and get a right shot forward without question. But I don't know if it's as urgent right now as it was, just because of the way that Ruzicka has popped in and fit so well so far. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been brought to you, as always, by DoorDash. Go download the app, create the account, and use the promo code FNLiveDD, as FlamesNation Live is always brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. Have yourself a great rest of your Sunday. Flames and Kings, note the start time, 6:30 on Monday for the Flames and Kings, then a 6-game road trip for Calgary, but a 6:30 start for Calgary and Los Angeles on Monday. We've got it for you on Sportsnet 960, The Fan, starting with a 5:30 Calgary Flames warm-up pregame show. Thanks for joining us on Flames Nation Live. We'll catch you later on in the week. There's a 2-day gap between games after Monday. They don't play again until Thursday in Tampa Bay. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for watching, whether you're watching live or after the fact. We've been brought to you by DoorDash. I'm Pat. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. We'll talk to you soon on the next edition of Flames Nation Live. Peace.